This is a first-angle projection problem. It is similar to the previous ones, but slightly more complex. If you have watched the earlier videos, I encourage you to try this one yourself first. Pause the video and give it a go. Now let's begin. Step 1. Draw construction lines. First, draw a horizontal line across your sheet. This horizontal line serves two purposes. In the negative direction, to the left, it represents the x-axis, guiding the width of both the front view and the top view. In the positive direction, to the right, it represents the y-axis, guiding the depth of the left side view. In first-angle projection, the left side view is placed on the right side of the front view. Next, draw a vertical line for our z-axis. This vertical line also serves two purposes. In the positive direction, upward, it represents the z-axis, guiding the height of the front view and the left side view. In the negative direction, downward, it represents the y-axis, guiding the depth of the top view. In first-angle projection, the top view is placed below the front view. These lines are not part of the final drawing. They are just light guidelines to help us position everything correctly. Draw them lightly. Use a very faint line. Step 2. Now that we have our construction lines and cross set up, we can place our three views. But before we start drawing features, we need to prepare our layout by creating maximum size rectangles for each view. What is a maximum rectangle? A maximum rectangle is the outer boundary that will contain all the features for that specific view. Think of it as a container that holds everything we will draw inside that view. Order of drawing maximum rectangles. Let's draw them one by one, in this order. 1. Front view rectangle, 70 by 70. Width equals 70 units on the x-axis. Height equals 70 units on the z-axis. This is the largest view, so we draw it first. 2. Top view rectangle, 60 by 70. Depth equals 60 units on the y-axis. Width equals 70 units on the x-axis. This goes below the front view in first-angle projection. Three. Left side view rectangle, 60 by 70. Depth equals 60 units on the y-axis. Height equals 70 units on the z-axis. This goes to the right of the front view in first-angle projection. Important, draw them lightly. Remember, draw these rectangles using a light line. Do not use bold or dark lines. Why? Because these are just construction lines. They are not part of the final drawing. Now that we have our maximum rectangles set up, let's understand how the views are connected to the isometric axis. This is a very important concept, so listen carefully. The front view is made using the x-axis, width, and the z-axis, height. This means any feature that lies on the xz plane will appear in the front view. The side view is made using the y-axis, depth, and the z-axis, height. Features on the yz plane will appear in the side view. The top view is made using the x-axis, width, and the y-axis, depth. Features on the xy plane will appear in the top view. Begin projecting front view. Now that our layout is set up, we can begin projecting the details from our isometric drawing into each view. Let's start with the front view. From our earlier discussion, we know that the front view lies on the xz plane. The planes on this axis are visible from this direction. But before we draw all the planes, let's start with the inclined plane. The inclined plane appears as an inclined line from the front view. However, from the top view and left side view, it appears as a true shaped plane, a rectangle, or a surface. So, first, draw this inclined line on the front view. Drawing the XZ planes. Now, after the inclined line, we can see three planes that lie on the XZ axis. Plane L, located above plane K. Plane K, located in the middle. Plane Q, located below plane K. All three of these planes are on the XZ plane. Since they are on the XZ plane, they are visible from the front. So, we draw them on the front view using solid lines. Now, draw the final visible plane from the front direction. As I discussed earlier, if a plane lies on the XZ plane, it is visible from the front direction. In this case, the bottom plane, plane J, is on the XZ plane, so we can see it from this direction. Drawing the hidden plane, plane S. Now, there is one more plane on the XZ axis, plane S. Plane S is located below all the other planes. However, it is hidden behind another surface. Because it is not directly visible from the front, we need to show it using a hidden, dashed, line. So, draw plane S as a hidden line on the front view. Drawing the rectangular hole. Now, the last feature for this side is a rectangular hole at the top. This hole has dimensions, 22 units times 15 units. It goes down through the object. From the front direction, we need to show this hole. But here's the important part. The hole is hidden for the first 38 units. During this portion, we draw it as a hidden, dashed line. After 38 units, the hole becomes visible from the front. At that point, the line changes to a solid line because it is no longer hidden. So, we draw the hole with both hidden and visible portions. Hidden line for the first 38 units. Solid line for the remaining visible portion. Now, moving to the top view. When we come to the top view, we have one piece of information from our 2D or orthographic front view. That is the width information on the x-axis. This x-axis is common for the top view as well. So, we just need to project the vertical lines from the front view onto the top view rectangle. Then, when we project two vertical lines, we get the length between them. The y-axis dimension, 20 units, comes from the isometric view. Using these two pieces of information, we draw the rectangle. As we see, it is located at the top left of the top view maximum rectangle, 60 by 70 rectangle. In the same way, project two lines from the front view. As we discussed earlier while making the front view, we have a rectangular hole. The hole's position is shown by hidden lines. When we project lines from that position, we now know the hole's position on the top view. However, the y-axis dimension comes from the isometric view. Apply it after projecting the vertical lines. Project the vertical lines onto the top view rectangle area. At this time, the L-shaped portion, which we see as plane W in the isometric view, should be drawn on the 2D view after projection. Now, the remaining part is the inclined plane. When we project it vertically, we do not get its true dimension. That means the dimension on the x-axis is distorted. However, there is a method to get the true shape of the plane. You can check the video on my channel discussing this topic titled Auxiliary Views Explained. How to draw the true shape of an inclined surface engineering drawing. But for now, the width dimension comes from vertical projection and the y-axis dimension comes from the isometric view. Use these to construct the inclined plane. As we see, the 70 by 20 plane is hidden by the L-shaped feature. The inclined plane is also L-shaped, but the same portion of 70 times 20 is visible from the top when viewed from the inclined plane direction. In this view, we also have solid and hidden lines. Where we see the 70 by 20 area from above, it is drawn as a solid line. Where this 70 by 20 area is shielded from above, it is drawn as a hidden line. In the same way, there is a 70 x-axis times 30 y-axis rectangle located at the lower part beneath all these features. Since it is not visible from the top, we need to show it using hidden lines. The last view, side view. From the side view direction, we have only two planes. Let's name them plane T and plane E. Plane T is an inclined plane. This plane appears as a plane from the top and side views. But from the front view, it becomes an inclined line. Plane E has a maximum height of 51 units, as we see from the isometric view. To draw it on the side view, we need to project horizontal lines from the top view and from the front view up to the 51-unit height. Using the 45-degree line method. As we always do, to transfer horizontal lines from the top view, we use a 45-degree line. After that, project vertical lines onto the side view area to create the feature of plane E. So, to create the feature of plane E on the side view area, we take the depth, y-axis, from the top view through the 45-degree line. We take the height, z-axis, from the front view. Where these two projections meet, we draw the feature of plane E. Drawing plane T. The last plane is plane T. To draw it, we need a horizontal line from the front view. Since we have already projected all the lines from the top view, we can now proceed with the projection. After projecting, draw plane T on the side view. Final feature, hidden line. To complete our drawing, the last feature is a hidden line. Project one line from the top view onto the side view. As we see, it is projected from the 22 by 15 rectangle area. After projecting it onto the side view area, draw the hidden line. Now our drawing is complete. If this video helped you understand hidden lines and inclined planes, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. I'm Ephraim from Draft and Dialogue, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.